Hi guys, in today's episode we are going to talk about application programming interfaces or APIs. Now why is APIs important in security? Many security related applications have an application programming interface where you can use a script or a program to retrieve those data and you can do many analysis on this. This is very important in automation. So today we are going to use VirusTotal and the client as a Google Sheets, and through APIs we are going to retrieve VirusTotal data to Google Sheets. I hope it will be interesting. So if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And welcome to Hack Explorer. Using VirusTotal API with Google Sheets. In a normal situation, you will use VirusTotal to determine whether the file is malicious or not. We can browse VirusTotal, can either upload a file to VirusTotal. Then normally what we use is we'll be having the hash value of a malicious file that we want to check. So quickly we can go to, so I'll copy this one and so just press enter. So the VirusTotal database will show what are the virus cards that are detected with these files as malicious. Now what if you want to check all of these hashes even more, like just say you have hundreds of hashes, you can't do it manually like this. We can use a method like a Google Sheet where we can enter all the hashes and it will show whether it is malicious or not. So we are going to look at an easy way of scanning the hashes in a bulk. Now this is a demo for the API that we are going to use. We'll be having a client just like a web browser. You enter the malware hash and just press enter. The client will send the request to the web server, and web server in the normal situation will be returning as a web page to us. That's what we saw now. When you are using the API function, you'll get a special URL. Now in this case you can see the API flickr.com, which is the flickr.com API, and we are sending some parameters. For example, we are using the method as to get the information of this particular file. So you'll be sending this constructed variable and with the URL, and the web server will return the result in a form of JSON or SOAP. So these are the standard methods of returning data for an API. So the client will be not a web browser, it could be a JavaScript or a Python script or even a PHP web page that can show the data automatically and query every time without the intervention of a user. Now if you want to know more about the API and how to use it, for example we are using VirusTotal over here, so let's switch into the VirusTotal API documentation. So the API documentation looks something like this. First of all, we'll be seeing some methods that we can use. You can see we can use get and post. Normally get is used to receive the data and post is used to send the data. Okay, and you can see if you say file report function, now this is how you use it. The implementation details are given in curl, Python and PHP, and if it's a curl command, you can use a VirusTotal API URL. Okay, so we want a file report. Now we are going to send two different parameters over here, the API key and a resource. In resource, in this case we can use a virus hash value over here. Now what is the API key? Usually some public APIs are there we can use without a key, but VirusTotal they require key, so you can track your usage, how much request you can generate. So this will be depending on the API key you use. You have two different API keys. Now if I go here, this is my API key which I blur out, and you can see this is the public API. They're monitoring the usage of how much API requests that I use. Okay, in a public you have some restrictions. You can see only 4 requests per minute and daily quota and monthly quota. If you purchase this, you can get even more requests. Let's see how to test. So first of all, I'll take this curl command and I'm going to open my Notepad+, pasting it over here. So let's get the details. So we are going to fill our API key which was available over here. Just replace it, and the resource. For the resource I'm going to give one of my hashes. I'm going to use the same hash you saw the result earlier in the web page, and now I'm going to use it over here. Now we'll copy this code, go to our Linux shell, okay, and paste it and press enter. this will be resulting in this particular data. Now you can see this number of scans which has detected. For example, this particular Kaspersky, you can see it's detected, and it detected as a Trojan malware, and this is the latest update. You'll get all the virus commands. I'm interested in another area where you'll get how many virus guards has detected this. You can see out of 65 virus guards, 53 guards has been detected this as a virus. So definitely this hash is malicious. So this is a JSON output. If you are using Python, you can use a list or a dictionary method to extract this data and show in a table. So this is an API request and this is the result. So in this example, what we are going to do is we are going to take this output into a Google Sheet and you use it to automate your virus hash analyzing process. Okay, so I'm going to go to my Google Sheet and show you step by step how this is done. So this is the sample sheet that I have. To make things clear to you, I'm going to get a new sheet. I'm going to enter the hash over here. So the Google Sheet will show automatically the total number of scans and the total number of positives, and the status will say if it is infected or a good file. So I'm going to get my hash value from here and copy this and paste it over here. Right, now what we have to do is make sure this URL is passed. I'll copy this URL. Now we are going to use a function. Okay, if you use equals, that's to read data from websites, you can use the import function. Now you have multiple functions. If you get XML output, you can use the XML. Data is normally if the data is in CSV or TSV format. Feed, again it's like RSS feeds. HTML if it's a web page. Now this output, it's a JSON output. Now natively Google Sheets doesn't support JSON, so we can use the help of a script. So this script is public available script, which is a Google script that can extract JSON data for you. Okay, I'll publish this URL in the description. So if you have another good JSON importer, you can please post it in the comment area. So if you want to get a GitHub value, just click row, and I'm going to copy this coding. I'm going to tools, script editor. So there you'll be seeing some script already in this section. So I'm going to create a new script file. Here make sure you use the function name. So I'm going to say import JSON. So this will be the function name that we are going to use inside our Google Sheet. And you can delete these things and just paste this. Now remember, not only VirusTotal, with this script you can import any type of API data using this script. So it is very valuable, not only for this example. So here we have hash value. So I'm going to say import. Oops, I didn't save this. I'm going to use the import function again. Okay, now you can see the ImportJSON function is listed over here. Sometimes in a script type you will want to get the user-friendly parameter interface. You will need to go to another help document. So within these double quotations, I have to give the URL that I'm going to request. I'm going to go to my code that I made earlier. So I'm going to copy this URL. Okay, I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, so here this has the API key and the resource that we're going to access. So this is the same resource. So for testing, I'm going to use this, keep the value as this, and press enter. What you can see here is the data has been imported into our Google Sheet. Now we don't want all the values. If we go to the end, we need only two values, that is the total and the positives. So I'm going to put some parameters over here. You can go to the help screen of this, which is I'll be posting. I'll post the help values over here. So if I go to the help page, you have some more parameters that can be given. Now this is another import JSON function which I am going to explain now. I'll post this also in the comments area. So I'm going to delete this and this one. Now here we have the same URL. Okay, and another empty section. We'll be seeing what is this, and row headers means now for each value we have a row header. Now this row header is bit long. Now this is the actual JSON path within the scans, back, and the version, and everything is listed over here. This is called no truncate method. Okay, that's how you see the full description over here. And what is this? Now let's see an example. If I go to the end, right, you can see total and positives. I'm going to copy these two values and just going to paste over here. And I showed you another section called parameters. Now if you want only the total and the positive scans, you can enter the headings of the parameters that you need. Okay, so I'm going to copy this total. Let's see, if total, we should get about a result like 63. Okay, total is 65, and we need the positives. So next column, I'm going to copy the positives value. Okay, so go to the same thing again and say your comma and say you need the positive value. Okay, so you can see you entered these two here. Now we should get two results, so the total and the positives. Now we already have some row headings. We won't be needing these addition headings to help us. So go here. So it's very easy. Just expand the function and say, without saying row headers, just say no headers. Okay. So this is how you get the value. Will our function work with another hash value? Let's check it. I'll copy another different hash value for this. We had a lot. So just copy 3 or so. Do another small change. We need to say take the value from this particular A2 value. We are going to take this result dynamically. So I'm going to remove this part. Okay. Now here you can use the concatenation sign and take the value from this data. Okay. Now you can see I have not entered the value. Now it is taking the A2 value. So just like simple Excel, if you drag this, it should get this value for us. So 71. Okay. Why it's not returning a positive value is there's no positive value. That's why it is returning a null value. So if I click the other scan, so 65 of 53, is it the same hash? Yes. Let me check, get another hash from here. Okay, let's take this value. So that is how you can change another one. Okay, different values. So let's see if the next one is different. Oops, I think there's no value like this, or if this hash is not found in VirusTotal, that's why you are getting this. So let's try another hash. Okay, cool. Now we have 3 virus hashes and it's all infected. Okay, now we are going to use a if function to show the status of the file. So this will be something that is additional to make sure we detect the virus hashes easily. So you can use the if function for this one. It's clear, if we have more than one value, if there is more than one detection, I'm going to mark this file as infected. I'm not sure about the data type that is returned away, whether it is a text value. Default it should be a general text value. Just to make sure, I'm going to convert the value inside this into integer. So make sure I'm working with numbers. Whatever the value over here, it will try to convert it integer, right? If it's a number, I'm going to say if the number is more than 0, that means I'm positive there's a detection over here. So if there's a detection, the file is infected. Okay, and if it is not, the value is 0. Okay, I'm going to say the file is good. Okay, this is how I'm going to do my function over here. Okay, you can test it out. If you get errors, please do let me know in the comments window. So this is a simple function that we can use to see if it is good or infected. Okay, so I'm going to just create these things just to add more makeup into this one. I'm going to use a conditional format. Okay, so if the cell value contains if the cell value contains infected, you have to be careful in capitals and symbols over here. I'm going to show it in a red color. Let's take a light red. Okay, that looks okay for me. Okay, the file is infected. Okay, for the same thing you can add another condition. If the value contains text contains something like good, show the color in green. Okay, I'm going to take a light green now here. Okay, so that is very clear. Will this work on some other values? I'm going to copy the 4 hashes from here. I don't know if they are malicious or not. Why am I checking 4 at a time? Because we have a restriction of 4. If you have like the private public API, you can easily do this. Okay, right, so you can see all 4 files are infected, and you'll get the additional details over here. This is an example of how you can use API data. Remember, this JSON script, you can use it with the other API applications, something like you can use the Google API to get domain name related information, or you can use Shodan to see additional parameters, what ports are open for a particular IP. Even if you go to the VirusTotal API documentation, this is one API. Another common thing that you can use the URL report. So same way you can enter a URL, and you can get if the URL is infected or not. So try with one of these things. All things will be easy. Just read the API documentation and you'll get an idea. And the final thing is, never ever share your API key publicly. So I'm blurring out all the time the API key as much as possible. So this is how you automate things with API. I hope that you got an idea on how to use APIs with Google Sheets, but it's better if you can use this with a Python script or a PHP script. But this is how you can start. So this is a good API testing script where you can use Google Sheets easily and just to implement what type of data that you can retrieve. So I hope this video was informative. If you like this video, please put a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And if you have more requests related to this type of topic, please use the comment area and just let me know, and I'll help you as much as I can. Thank you guys.